We live? Yes, we are live. We are live. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, we are live. And this morning on the Huddle community, I have an important question for you this morning. Are you struggling to get your first brand deal as a content creator? Well, this morning on the Huddle, we're going to be sharing 7 great important tips on how to get your first brand deal and more as a small and growing YouTube channel this morning on the Huddle. So do me a favor, grab a pen, grab a pad. It's time to go to work. Praise the Lord, everyone. Welcome to the Huddle. I'm your host, Walter Strong, where we share tips and tools on making live streaming easy for you as a beginner. And as I said in our opening hook this morning, we're going to be sharing, I think I said 5, but correction, 7 great tips on being able to get brand deals and more as a small and notice growing channel. That means you may be in a certain place right now in your journey, but you're going to be growing to be able to get brand deals and more in 2024. And so if you're joining me this morning, let me know in the chat where you're watching me from. Give me a hashtag Team Live. And if you're watching the replay of this great episode of the Huddle, let me know in the replay section, comments, hashtag Team Replay. And so this morning, we have a very great guest who's going to be coming on and sharing with us the important 7 great tips on how he as a content creator, as a consultant, as a coach on being successful in getting brand deals. And so let me just get over here to his bio and tell you a little about our guest this morning. Today's guest, okay, boom, boom, boom. Today's guest is a beard product reviewer, in the beard industry. He is a consultant. He started in YouTube in 2020 as a hobby, but after doing YouTube for a while, he was being able to turn his hobby into a passion in helping others learn about beard science, health, products, and most important, save money in purchasing in this particular niche. As a consultant, he helps other companies with their product development, their sales, their marketing. Ken also works for 2 companies as a content creator, Skull Shaver and Dead Man Beard, helping them to manage their social media and content. And additionally, Ken works as a content creator, as a coach on the side, and consulting with other content creators in their efforts to help them grow on their own on YouTube. Most importantly, this gentleman has been considered to me a great, great friend in content creation on YouTube. Not only that, is he a great friend, he's my coach. And a lot of individuals have been saying how I've been able to be a great influence in being a coach to them. Well, this is the gentleman who's been helping me to be able to be that coach to you. And so being able to just hit him on Instagram, send a DM to him from every now and then, ask him questions, get feedback from him. If you're going to be a great coach to someone else, you got to be willing to be coached yourself. And so this morning on the Huddle, I want to bring on the one, the only, Coach Ken Saleh.
What's up, Walter? You give me way too much credit, man. I appreciate you. And I appreciate your friendship. I think like 3 years now, probably 3 years ago we met.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And it's been truly a great, enjoyable content creation ride, and seeing your evolution of how you've been able to go from one channel to another, and then be able to pivot and say, no, I need to come back over to here to where what works for my audience. And even going through that same kind of evolution myself, I was able to kind of look to you and say, okay, yeah, it's okay to kind of get off track, but be honest enough and say, come back to what really works. And so you've definitely been a true coach. I did my best in trying to give you the best introduction I know from a Triple H standpoint, but are you ready to let our audience know a little about yourself?
Absolutely. You did great. Like I said, you gave me way too much credit. Yep. So I'm Ken Salee on YouTube, Ken's Constant Beards and Fitness. As Walter mentioned, I've had a couple of different niches that I've kind of been in. I started off in 2020 in the beard niche. So talking beard products really started out as a hobby. I was buying beard products. The pandemic was kicking off and we were all kind of hanging out at home. So it's like, you know what? I'm going to start making videos about some of this stuff that I'm putting in my beard. And it really turned into a lot more. I started having a lot of fun with it. And I know we're going to talk brand deals. I had a company reach out just a few months in, and I started working with them early on. So it was just such a great time. I did kind of pivot a little bit, like Walter said, back in what was that? August 2022, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's right. August 20, either that or 2021. I don't remember the year now. It's all kind of together, but I got into a little bit of content coaching. That was fun for a while. And I still, like you mentioned, I still kind of do it on the side, but my passion is talking about beard products and helping beard companies succeed and grow their brands in this. So, yeah, that's the beard niche is home for me. It's just what I love to do and what I love to talk about. So it just made sense for me to go back to that. So yeah, no, I appreciate you, man.
Thank you. Truly, truly. Huddle community, I definitely wanted to kind of highlight you in the comments section. So I do apologize for not being able to shout everyone, but I definitely wanted to display you on the screen this morning, from Ash all the way from London to our live stream moderator Florence, to my dear sister Stephanie, and all, most importantly, Team Replay. We're so glad you're here. And so we're going to get into this content. This man, like I said, once he ended up getting back into his niche, I've been able to watch from a distance and see how he has been establishing and getting brand deals. And I think there's a lot of wisdom and experience that Ken has here that we're going to get into and be able to learn from as content creators on being able to get brand deals. Or maybe you've had the opportunity to get brand deals, but you kind of fell off the horse and you need a review on this. So let's get into this. Tip number one, niching down. Like I said, once you kind of went back to your channel, you kind of had a niche audience. Take me through the process in terms of when you saw this opportunity in being a product reviewer, helping not just in the terms of, okay, I want to get a brand deal for me and my channel, but what can I do for companies?
Yeah. So, like I said, the beard niche is just what I'm passionate about. And I tell creators just when I'm coaching them, when somebody wants to start a YouTube channel or they're asking, how can I grow my YouTube channel? Some may be frustrated because they just don't feel like they're growing fast enough. And I give people the same advice every single time. If you create what you're passionate about, you're not going to worry about those numbers. You're not going to worry about how fast you're growing because you're having a great time and producing and creating what you're putting out there. So you have to love what you're doing first. So that's first and most importantly, it's just the niche that I love is talking beards. And it's funny. Sometimes people don't understand. They're like, wow, I didn't realize there's so much about beards out there. It's not only just about the products either. It's the brotherhood, bearded guys are, we're just, like I said, a brotherhood. Camaraderie is great. So it's just what I love to be involved with. As far as the brand deals that come along with that, man, we can talk so much about that. I'm sort of different in the niche that I'm in because I'm dealing mostly with small batch beard companies that may not have the marketing budgets and some may not even really have an understanding. I want to say respectfully, not really an understanding yet of marketing and how this all works. So I don't reach out to those guys directly a lot. And I think we're going to talk about that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But for bigger companies, I will. And we're going to get into all that also. But yeah, the niche is important. You have to know your audience. You have to have an audience that respects what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And all of that starts with being in a niche that you're passionate about talking about, so you don't get burned out and you don't worry about, those numbers when, because Walter, as a content creator, there's high times and there's low times. There's times when you feel great and there's times when you feel burned out and you're like, man, why am I not growing? And I get that too. Like I do still. Why is my channel not blowing up? But again, if you do what you love, you're going to get through that stuff easily.
Definitely, definitely. And how helpful has it been in being able to niche down, understanding the target audience that you're creating content for, that you're passionate, being able to identify your ideal avatar, so that as you start to talk to different brand companies, in particular in the bearded niche, in bearded industry, to be able to say, I have something here that I can bring to your company, not only in terms of helping you grow as a company, but to help my audience benefit from it as well.
Yeah. So, having the right audience, the more that you have of that specific audience and whatever niche you're talking about, the more eyes are going to be on your channel, the more it's going to grow, the more people like them are going to see your content. And that's just going to keep bringing more and more of that specific audience to that. And then companies on the flip side of that, their demographic is also those same, in my case, those bearded guys and people watching that. People start talking about your channel, sharing your content. All of that leads those companies to you. And then at the end of the day, your content is king. So if your content is something that those brands identify with, relate to, if they vibe with you, you know what I mean? Then they're more than likely to reach out and at least explore the possibility of working with you in some way. In the beard niche, it's different. Like I said, these are small batch companies with small marketing budgets, sometimes no marketing budget. And so they're trying to figure that out also. So that's where the consulting comes in. I can help them with that. Product development is another thing. I've spent a lot of time learning about the science of beard products and these different ingredients that go into it. What's good for your beard, what's bad for your beard. So you can help them with stuff like that. It really, I think the most important piece of that specifically is meeting that brand where they are.
Okay.
Right. You have a brand, and I can think of brands in my head right now that are brand new. They're just trying to find sales to get their company going, right? To make some money, reinvest that back into the company. And then you got some brands that they're more established, they're doing very well, but obviously they want to expand. They want to look into new products, try to reach a new market, expand their audience. So it's really meeting them where they are and then letting them know how you can help them where they are to get where they want to be.
Gotcha. Hey, we're talking this morning about 7 great tips on helping you as a small and growing YouTube channel get brand deals and more. And so if you have a question this morning specifically about your channel, and if is your channel a candidate where it can get brand deals, put a Q in front of the question, because we definitely want to address that. And if you have a comment, put a C in front of the comment, and kind of transitioning over to the understanding your audience part. As a small and growing channel, I've got my first 100 subscribers, and there's going to be those peaks and valleys, like you say, in terms of when the channel has momentum and when it seems like the channel doesn't have momentum. What are some of the ways, as a small channel, I can be able to begin to understand my audience, whether if it's through my analytics, through the community tab of polls and questions, to help me understand the audience, to find out what brand deals are right for my channel?
Yeah. So understanding your audience, I mean, man, the best thing that I've ever done for my channel is, looking at comments, looking at what people are saying in the chats of live streams, looking at how people answer, questions in the community tab when you put a poll out there, stuff like that. If you listen to your audience, they'll tell you what they want to see, right? So I think first and foremost, that's the most important. Your audience is going to tell you exactly what they want to see. I started doing a live stream. It's a beard advice Q&A stream. And Walter, I don't know if you remember my Just Stream With Me streams on the content coaching channel, but I'm going to do something very similar to that. I'm still in the planning stages, but I'm going to bring people live on screen and give live beard advice. And so I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be fun. But in all these different types of things, your audience is going to make comments on your videos. They're going to ask questions during streams, and they're literally telling you what they want to see. So for me, that's the first and foremost most important.
Mhm. That's key. That is definitely key. And like you're saying, being able to bring your audience on a part of the live stream and be able to get that live feedback, that helps others in the chat as well to say, he really has my best interest at hand. I'm not just a number to him. I'm not just a view a view count to his channel, but I am someone that is truly important to him, that he recognizes a part of the community. That is powerful. That is
Yes.
powerful.
Yeah, you have to bring value to your audience, right? Like
Mhm.
there's a few things in content creation that we are here for, right? We are here to inspire, to educate, to entertain, or a combination of those, right? You can entertain and educate at the same time. You can inspire and entertain at the same time. But those are
Mhm.
the three main things people are looking for when they come to any YouTube platform, any content creation platform. And so
Mhm.
if you're doing those things for them, if you're bringing them value, they're going to reciprocate by also bringing you that value by letting you know what they want to see, so then you can give them what they want. It's like a circle where that keeps happening, your content keeps growing. Yeah, that audience feedback is so important.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion this morning on brand deals and more as a small and growing channel, do me a favor, click that thumbs up button for me. Share this on your favorite social media platform this morning as we're talking about growing as a small channel and getting your first brand deal and more, which kind of brings us now to tip number 3: putting together your brand list, identifying the companies that you want to begin to have conversations, whether if they're on a national level or on a local level. Kind of take us through your process and how have been able to kind of put together, whether if you're top 3, top 5, top 10 lists on identified brand companies.
Yeah, so again, in the beer niche, it's I don't want to say it's different because there are other small companies out there that work with creators, but the beer niche itself is driven by small batch companies. Again, these companies that may not have a huge marketing budget. So you will get, and let me say again, content is king 100%. If you're making content that a brand finds valuable, they will find you
Mhm.
and they will want to work with you. Now that doesn't mean that every brand will want to work with you. You may not vibe with a specific brand. You know, they may not be able to relate to you, who you are as a creator, or your content style. But if you're producing quality content, brands will find you and want to work with you. Um, and so putting together my brand list has been a combination of, number one, companies reaching out to me. And I got to say, I want to make sure I say how important it is that you don't just say yes to every company that reaches out, right?
Hmm.
There's going to be some companies that reach out that at the same time talking about vibing with the brand, vibing with you. You may not vibe with that brand, and it's nothing personal, but I I've literally turned down more brands than I've accepted to work with. And we can talk about, that communication and stuff like that. But, I think the most important part in putting together your brand list is that you make sure you're working with companies that are like your platform, whether we're talking, ethically or, just similar, the word slipped my mind, but similar, values. I don't know why this word slipped my mind. Where basically you are, you and this owner relate to each other, right? In
Mhm.
your, in the way that you do things, in the way that you act online.
Gotcha.
So I think putting together your brand list starts with identifying with those companies that you think are right for your platform, and vice versa, that they feel you're right for their platform, because it's definitely a reciprocal, a two-way relationship.
Definitely. And you touched on in terms of where you've had to turn some brand deals down. Um, how many times have it come to turn brand deals down from a standpoint of helping you to understand, to know your worth and the value of you protecting your community? How many times has that arose where, hey, look, I got to protect the community, because unfortunately, sometimes a brand deal or a sponsor may just be trying to approach this from a one way relationship.
Yeah, so I couldn't even tell you the number of times I've turned down, and I've also ended relationships with companies I've been working with for various reasons.
Hmm.
The companies that I'm working with right now are all fantastic companies that I believe in. And there's been other companies that I've worked with that I've believed in also, but something has happened where customer service, was either not there, or there even a case where I dropped an affiliate relationship because the company basically took a bunch of orders, took a bunch of money and ran, didn't fulfill the orders.
Mm,
Bunch of people were out their money. So, one thing that comes along with that, when people understand that you work closely with this company, a lot of times they'll come to you if they have an issue. And I always tell companies when I work with them, like, look, if we're working together in this way, and this is more on the affiliate side, I know we're talking brand deals, but
sure.
when your audience realizes that you work with this company at this level, they'll come to you. And I explain to companies, like, look, we represent each other. So your actions affect me, vice versa. My actions, the way that I conduct myself online, affect you. So it's important to understand that. But I mean, to answer your question, as far
Sure.
as there's so many reasons why I've turned down deals, mostly because it just doesn't make sense. I'll get emails from companies wanting me to promote like their games, like mobile games.
Hmm.
That I get those a lot, like 5 or 6 times a week.
Wow.
Never, and I could easily say, oh yeah, I could. This company pay me $1,000, I'll make a video, but it just doesn't make sense for my brand to do
Hmm.
that, right?
Right.
I've had other ones where I just don't relate to that owner, or I don't believe in their products, because I do research, right? Talking beard products, I do research what these companies are putting in their bottles of beard oil.
Okay.
I don't want to recommend anything that I think is going to harm somebody's beard. So, it would be easy to accept every brand deal that comes my way, but there comes a point where if you do that, your reputation is going to suffer,
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
you have nothing. I mean, if you don't have your reputation, you have nothing. So, it's definitely important to select that list selectively and making sure that it's something that's going to make sense and be helpful and not harmful to your audience.
Definitely, definitely. Hey, if you have a question, put a Q in front of the question and C in front of the comment. We'll definitely highlight your comment on screen. And when we get to the Q&A session, we will definitely get to your question. And so, as you were saying, a lot of the companies are reaching out to you. And so, as a small and growing channel, when that type of communication starts to flow, what is the email etiquette in terms of how, as a content creator, we should be reaching back to them, and some best practices you've been using in reaching out to them from an email etiquette standpoint?
Yeah. So first and foremost, obviously being respectful, which should be in every communication you have with anybody, right? Not
Mhm,
just this. Like that's really important to me. But being respectful, you mentioned a few minutes ago to know your worth.
mhm,
It's absolutely important to know your worth and what you bring to the table. It's also important at the same time to not allow yourself to overstate your worth, right? So there's a fine balance there in communicating back that way with knowing your worth, but not coming across as, I don't know, overconfident, cocky in that situation. Maybe that's the right way to say it.
okay,
So yeah, as far as email etiquette, respectful. I remember the first time that I got an email from a company that I read, and I was like, yeah, I would like to work with this company. I honestly I didn't know how to respond back right away because I was excited, like I wanted this brand deal, right?
mhm, mhm,
And so when I sent them an email, I literally typed it out. I don't think I replied for like a day or so because I typed it out, I changed things, saved a draft, kept coming back to it. But at the end of the day, it's letting that company know, first of all, how you can provide them value, um, putting that in a way that makes sense to them, and then just being willing to negotiate. I do treat every brand deal differently depending on, what the company's asking me for, what they expect of me in return for that, whatever they're offering to pay me. Um, so yeah, I do treat everyone differently based on that, but I try to be very careful in my response to not appear over eager, but also not appear to be like willing to just, throw the farm in if they'll work with me. So
That's good. That is
yeah.
good. That is truly good. And like you were saying, taking the time to just say, okay, let me draft this, but then let me step away, come back, reread it, and make sure it's concise enough to be able to say, yes, I'm willing to work with you. Or what, or as a part B to that question, how did you put the email together when you were saying, instead of just putting no in the in the email and saying no thank you, how should a person craft an email and saying, unfortunately, this wouldn't be a good time for us to be able to work together?
Yeah, so I've got actually have one of those today that I need to type and send out.
Mhm.
I've had a company reach out to me the middle of this past week, and they're a huge company in the men's grooming industry. They want to
Okay.
work with me on, they sell things like, trimmers and beard trimmers and head shavers and, clippers and things like that. And I would love to work with this company. I really, really would, but I can't because it would be a conflict being that I'm a contracted influencer with Skull Shaver.
Okay.
This is a company that everybody that has a beard almost knows about this company. Like I could probably make a bunch of money working with this company,
Okay.
but it doesn't make sense because I already have that relationship with Skull Shavers. So I don't want to jeopardize that relationship that's going on 4 years now that I've been working with them. So this is a case where when I reply to the email, being honest and upfront and just let them know, like, hey, I appreciate you reaching out. Absolutely do. Unfortunately, I can't because of this conflict, and just explain to them, I do work with this other company, and it would be a conflict for me to work with you in this way. But I appreciate you reaching out, and best of luck, something like that. Keep it short but honest and
Mhm.
respectful.
Wow, that is gold there. That is definitely gold. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion this morning on brand deals and more as a small and growing channel and getting your first brand deal, do me a favor, click that like button for me, share this on your favorite social media platform. And if you're new here to the Huddle, where we share tips and tools on making live streaming easy for you as a beginner, subscribe to the channel, click the alert notification button, and join the conversation in the chat and in the comment section for us. And so let's kind of go over here now to tip number 5, your brand pitch. Companies have been reaching out to you, but again, you may have some companies on your list that you want to reach out to and they haven't reached out. Uh, Take us through your process in terms of putting together a quality brand pitch, whether on the local or national, or is there a difference on the local or national level?
Yeah. So the first thing that I would say here, be prepared to either be ignored or rejected, and be okay with that, because that's going to happen more times than not. Um, a lot of times you're either going to be ignored, you'll never get a reply to that email, or you'll get a reply, but it'll be a, no, sorry, I don't think this is right for us. And just understand it's all business. It's all, again, it's these companies with their budgets and their marketing, their plans. So never take it personal because it's going to happen. But as far as the pitch goes, when I'm reaching back out to these companies, and I can give examples where I have reached out directly, cold me reaching out to companies directly. Again, I only do this with larger companies.
Mhm.
Um, I've I've reached out to companies like Culligan, the water service.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and the reason I reached out to them is because we had a water softener installed in our house from Culligan. The reason that makes sense for my brand is because of taking care of your beard. Hard water is very harsh on your hair and on your skin. So
Mm.
a water softener, or somehow filtering and softening your water, is really good for your skin and your hair. So I sent them an email with that kind of information, like, hey, I'm a customer of yours. I've got this water softener. Here's my idea for content. Here's my proposed content, frequency, right? So 3 videos, 2 videos, whatever.
Mhm.
Um, Here's my proposed what my rate would be for that, but obviously willing, and open for, your input, your negotiation. Short, like I said, not over eager, not like you're begging for a brand deal, but just short, direct,
Mhm.
letting them know. And then I'll also throw in there some links to some of my better performing videos. Here's a link directly to my YouTube channel, so you can kind of see what you want to see if you vibe with me as a creator.
Okay.
and just sort of laying out that resume, right? Like, here's what I've done, here's what I think I can do for you, and here's how I think we should do it.
Wow, that's great. That is great. Like I said, putting together your online resume, being able to see how this company, because at first glance, the company may say, okay, we're a water company. You're a YouTube channel that kind of talks about beard products and reviews and the bearded industry. That marketing person that's receiving that email may not at first have that insight to understand how their product helps the bearded company. And so to be able to have those conversations to bring them to that revelation, wow, that that's huge.
And for the record, Walter, that email was ignored. So just
Okay, no, but the simple fact to see that, because sometimes, when I look at my channel in terms, I say, okay, I talk a lot about live streaming, I talk a lot about online video. Um, where are the brand deal opportunities for me? And as in preparation for this, I said, okay, if a company was going to approach, then is it going to be a Logitech? Is it going to be an Elgato? Or is it going to be someone on a smaller local level that still values the importance of live streaming and online video? And so you giving that example is definitely an eye-opening for me to say, okay, you know, there are other types of companies and they're not as well known. And there may be companies where they may need to kind of see how we both connect together.
hmm yeah. And as far as local companies, like local companies have an advantage of you being right there because you can actually show up on location. You can
Mhm,
actually show up and interview them in person. You can show up and film either direct or B-roll of their specific operation. Like, so that would be another in as far as crafting your pitch that way, is letting them know what you can offer them on a local basis. That's not something I've really explored yet. I've made the joke with my brother-in-law that I need a new truck. I wonder
mhm.
if I could create some content for this, local dealer. Maybe they give me a truck and that's all I'd ask for. Um,
There
Obviously
you go.
joking, like nobody's giving me a $60,000 truck to create content, but you can dream, right? One can dream.
Right, and then at the same time, to be able to have that insight to say, "I know this is a stretch, but here's a go at it," and one won't know until you actually go ahead and take a shot at it. So, if anyone can do it, I know the coach can do it.
All somebody can ever say to you is no,
Mhm,
right? And it's when it comes to social media, when it comes to doing anything on the internet, you have to develop a attitude about, not taking things personal anyway.
mhm,
We can talk about, trolls and internet comments and all that. Like, you have to have thick skin. So in this specific scenario where we're talking about brand deals, be prepared, but be okay with the fact that people will say no, but don't let the fear of somebody saying no stop you from reaching out and at least trying to establish that relationship. I will add to that too. I do think it's important to, especially with, smaller companies, things like that, to build that relationship first. And I mean that in a genuine way. Like, don't build that
sure,
relationship just in hopes for a brand deal, but build a relationship, get to know the companies and things like that. Obviously, on a larger scale with a national business, like, you're probably not going to build a relationship with anybody
mhm,
because you have just a marketing at whatever. You don't know who's on the other side of that email. They're not coming around your streams or commenting on your videos.
mhm,
Um, but I do think it's important to, as best as possible, through that communication, whether they reach out to you or you reach out to them, to establish at least some sort of a relationship and learning and understanding how you can help each other. So it may take some time to even get to the brand deal point, but I
mhm.
think relationships are most important in that, especially on the local level. Like, these are your neighbors and people that your local business owners. You have even more of an opportunity to build a relationship with them. So relationships are definitely key.
Definitely. Definitely. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion this morning on brand deals or more as a small and growing channel on how to get your first brand deal, click that like button for me and share this on your favorite social media platform. As we get close to the Q&A session, Make sure you have a cue in front of the question so we can go over it. Which brings me to tip number 6, topic number 6, case studies. If I'm a small and growing channel and I haven't had the opportunity in being able to get my first brand deal, what are some tips on case studies that I can use as a talking point with a representative with a brand deal, whether if it's through affiliate marketing, whether if it's through memberships? What have been some case studies you've been able to use to start as a conversation point with a brand company?
Yeah. So again, I feel like the beard niche is kind of unique in the
Mhm,
fact that it's a lot of small batch companies with a lot of guys that can start making beard oil but may not understand the business or marketing side of things. Um, so a lot of it comes through them learning that as they go. Again, the relationships are very important. Um, but as far as case studies, and I mean, the most important thing that you can do, talking about a small channel who's trying to get to that point,
mhm,
is create content. And every time, try to make your content better. Your content is what's going to sell you at the end of the day, to these companies. So um, patience and continually trying to improve your content is going to be the best thing there. Also trying to understand, again, meeting companies where they are. That's the most important. Also, I mean, after your content, because you have to understand where these companies are as far as their budgets. And you're not going to know their budgets. That's not what I mean by that. But you can kind of gauge, you know, where they are with that marketing and business understanding. Um, yeah, am I getting to what you mean by case studies? I mean, there's a lot of things I can go there. I want to make sure I'm going down the road you
sure,
want me
no, no, you
to kind of
definitely. I
cover.
was just with case studies as I was kind of doing my research. One question came up from one individual and saying, "Well, what can I use as a talking point?" Being that I don't have any experience with case studies, but one example that was given in terms of, like you say, not only with content, but in terms of with the affiliate marketing, that how the right type of companies that a person works with affiliate marketing. Certainly, like you gave the example about games,
Hmm.
getting an affiliate with games, and your niche over here is bearded products, or your niche over here is with live streaming and online video coaching, and you're working with affiliate marketing with gaming. That's not going to be a great example to use as a case study for a potential brand deal.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, even on that point, I've deleted like every mobile game from my phone because they're a distraction. It takes
Mhm,
time away from me trying to create content. So
mhm,
that's just me knowing myself, like mobile games. Anyway, that's not what this is about.
right,
So yeah, talking about the mobile games, I mean, you get. I've gotten some crazy emails from companies. I mentioned the games, like that's one of the most common ones. I think a lot of people. I saw Denise mention she's gotten the gaming ones also. Lots of
mhm,
scams. I've never gotten the VPN one. I've gotten ones from companies trying to sell like horse saddles, and
mhm.
I'm like, wait, what? Uh, uh, did you even watch my channel? Did you see what my content's about? Like, I don't know anything about horses. I don't know how I can help you. Of course, that's not
Mm,
how I reply, um, but yeah, case studies. I think one of the most important things that you can do is you mentioned affiliates directly, is keeping track of your affiliate analytics. And one way that you can do that is these companies, when you work with them as an affiliate, they typically have some sort of an affiliate platform, affiliately. There's all kinds of different ones, but using that platform, you can see the stats, you can see how many people have clicked your link, you can see how many people have made purchases. And so you can kind of use that. You can create, one thing that I like to do is create a different link for each video so that I can point to specific videos for how well this video did helping a company sell some products. Um,
okay.
and then even on live streams, like I'll do the same thing for live streams. And I've got close relationships with the affiliate companies that I have, especially in the beard niche. So we have those conversations about, hey, how were sales that night? How many people clicked on the link but actually did not complete the purchase, or how many people clicked the link, abandoned their cart, and then came back
Mm,
to make the purchase. All kinds of different conversation there. So, um, You know, that's a big one there, being able to tell other companies like, look, I had this release with this with company A. Company A, that company made $5,000 during that live stream.
Mhm.
And I think I
Okay.
can help you do that also. Um, yeah, when it comes to affiliates, that's a big one there.
And the simple fact that you have insight or willing to take the step in saying where the customer or is in their buying process, where they stop and then they abandon the cart and is there, and then be able to say, go back to them and say, has that customer um, went back and completed the purchase? And if not, um, what can we do together, and not just kind of put the onus on the company, but to say, what can we do to help kind of make sure we can kind of make sure we can decrease that number of abandoned products. This takes working with brand deals to a whole nother level versus saying, I want to get a brand deal, I want to make me some money, I need to bring in another form of income and monetization because of AdSense are only going to pay so much more.
Right. Yeah. Some of that comes down to understanding also that there's many different reasons why people create a card and then abandon it, or different reasons why people may not purchase something. It may have nothing to do with your content or your platform.
Hmm.
Uh, you know, especially in 2024, like people are really trying to, decide where to spend their money because it seems like we have less of it these days.
Hmm.
Um, so people are picking and choosing what to buy. So it's also letting the companies know. One thing that I tell companies when we do a live stream, or I do a review for them or whatever, is like, look, I can't guarantee any sales. Nobody can guarantee any sales. But what I
Hmm.
will do is work my butt off and produce quality content and do my homework into your stuff so that I can tell people exactly why they should buy it. Um,
Hmm.
and be honest about it, and then after that, let the chips fall where they may. If you've got a quality product and I'm producing quality content, you're probably going to have a higher percentage of actual sales.
Hmm.
But you have to understand there's many different reasons why people don't make a purchase, so it's kind of a balance in those conversations with companies, setting their expectations also.
Hmm. Great, great. Definitely. This is good. This is good. Hey, if you're getting great value out of this discussion this morning on brand deals and more, as a small and growing channel, you know what to do. Click that thumbs up button, share this on your favorite social media platform, join the conversation in the live chat this morning. Put a Q in front of your question, C in front of the comment as we get to our last tip, and then we're going to get to the Q&A part. Your first deal. So a brand deal has a company has said, we're willing to work with you. We're willing to we kind of wrote out a first proposal on how this is going to work. First of all, take me through that first experience when you got your first brand deal, and some do's and don'ts on as you're going entering into that first brand deal.
Yeah, first of all, breathe. Congratulations, because that first brand deal is exciting. So breathe, collect yourself, and then get to work. That's very simple advice that it's probably not helpful, but I mean, it also is. Like, it's so exciting when the first time you have that company like see some sort of value in your platform and in your content, that they actually want to reach out to you and pay you to make content, right? It's exciting. But as far as things you should have in place, how to approach that, you definitely want to plan out, and it's different, right? With brand deals, I've had brand deals where the company says, look, uh, we're very open and we don't really dictate what you say in your content. Here's some talking points we want to make sure that you have there, but how you do that or what video you put that on, we don't really care. If you want to send us your video just so you can make sure we're okay with it, cool, but we really don't micromanage the way that you do that.
Mhm.
There's some companies that'll want to send you an actual script, and that's what they want you to say. So at this point, and for this question, we're talking, you've already decided that this is a company you want to work with. You align
Mhm.
with them value and ethical wise. So that script is probably something you're comfortable with. Um, but understand the differences and how companies want to approach these videos. Make sure that you understand your contract fully. A lot of these, especially bigger companies, are going to send you a contract. Make sure that you read that. And this is where I should probably say, like, I'm not an attorney. and I don't necessarily pay an attorney to read my contracts, but I do read them very carefully. Most of them are very simple.
Mm-hmm.
One page. This is what we expect from you. This is what you get from us. This is what we get from you. And there's usually something in there about if there's any disagreement, what state the court would be in. And that's typically it for the ones that I've been a part of anyway. I'm sure there's much larger ones out there with larger companies. I just haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
But understanding your obligations, your contract obligations, plan that script out, plan that content out. I would say better than you've ever planned any piece of content, because that first brand deal is hopefully going to be a springboard into other companies seeing that sponsored content and wanting to work with you also. So if you show them through that the value that you provided this company, and they feel you can provide them value also, I mean, man, plan, and put that out there. I had a brand deal with Mantis sleep mask, and you may wonder, like, well, how does that make sense with your platform?
Sure.
Because I do fitness stuff also, and I've
Right.
always had a hard time sleeping ever since leaving the Army. So I've used a sleep mask for years. I need that darkness. So that company reached out. I mean, it was pure coincidence that it did make so much sense. But my response to them was like, absolutely, I would love to work with you, and here's why. I do use sleep masks, and they told me what they were going to send, what they wanted. We probably had 15 or 20 emails back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
but understanding what they expect from you, understanding what you are walking away from that deal with also, and then just executing, make sure you plan it out.
Gotcha. And see, people don't notice about Ken. Ken is a full-time person who has a consulting business, but also works like a 9 to 5 like us, and being able to juggle all these things in working with brand deals. I'm quite sure it took a moment to be able to hit your stride to say work is good, family's good, content creation is good, but now I got this piece of the brand deal to add into it as well.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes with being upfront with the company about what your timelines look like. I got to say, and I tell people I cannot complain whatsoever about my schedule because I work from home. I'm in Wisconsin. My job's in Ohio. I literally this is my work desk right here. So,
Okay.
I'm always right here on slow days. Hopefully my boss doesn't watch your channel. On slow days, I can kind of pivot a little bit and and work on. Hopefully he does watch, but after this episode.
Right.
So I do have ways, but really that's kind of what it comes down to, is figuring out how you can work everything around your schedule. I've got an amazing wife who's in the chat, Mel. She is absolutely my biggest supporter. Never complains about the time that I have to spend. And I'm also very careful about making sure that, I'm not just constantly sitting down here, that I'm upstairs also and present there. We have 2 kids. So it's definitely a balance. It's definitely a balance. It's really important to make sure that you're upfront and that you let that brand know upfront what your timelines and what your calendars look like. And there's a couple of different ways that I do that, whether it's a brand deal or, somebody reaching out for a product review. Mantis Sleep Mask, for example, they said, well, this is what we would like. They wanted a video within like 2 weeks. They reached out to me in October. Is that right? October? No, September. They reached out September 2023 was their first reach out to me.
Okay.
And it was about the middle of the month. They wanted a video at the first part of November. And am I right on that timeline? November? Yeah, I am right. They wanted a video by the first part of October. And I said, well, that's going to be kind of tough because you've got to ship the products. I've got at least, it's a sleep mask, so I can pretty much tell in a day or two what I think of it. But they were sending me 2 sleep masks, and then they wanted, the content produced. This brand deal was actually a sponsored video. So it was basically a mid-roll, 1 minute long commercial in the middle of a video.
Okay.
And so I was just up front with them, like, look, I can't do that by October 1st because I need this time to try your product, plan the video, shoot the B-roll, put everything together, add the music. You know how it is, Walter.
Sure.
All that goes into producing a video.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just up front with them, like, there's no way that I can do that in 2 weeks, but November 1st, I can make it happen. So they said, okay, so let's do this. Let's do a monthly, a 3-month deal. your videos sometime in November, sometime in December, and sometime in January. What part of the month is fine? What video you want that on is fine. But I was upfront with them about my timelines. When it comes to product reviews, some companies will reach out, and I do charge for reviews also. Like, I'm very open and transparent about that. I do charge companies for product reviews, and I typically tell them, like, I need 4 to 6 weeks from the time that product shows up.
Mhm.
And I'll typically pencil something in on my calendar once they send me shipping information, so that, you know, pretty much you can rely on USPS shipping timelines, maybe off by a day or two, right?
Okay.
But I can at least pencil in a date based on that. So, yeah, the timelines about just being open with the company about this is everything else that I've going on. Also, this is how I can fit you in. Most of the time, they're completely okay with it as long as they have that understanding up front.
Definitely. No, that's huge to know in terms of, like you said, getting your first brand deal, things that you need to have in place, understanding your timeline. Those are all key things. And so, hey, if you have questions, and I've been starring quite a bit here, some questions. If you have some more questions, now is the time for you to, again, kind of put a queue in front of the question so myself can answer your questions on brand deals more. If it's on affiliate marketing, 2024 and more is going to be the year to grow as a small channel. Let me see where I have here. Okay, that's Florence. So let's transition to questions. Let me go over here to my start. And my first question comes from Auntie Denise from Homemaking with Denise. My channel is homemaking. What would you suggest on what would you suggest? What suggestions do you have for me to begin to shop for brand deals that are right for homemaking and for my homemaking channel? Your thoughts, Ken?
So I love the fact that she's in a niche talking about homemaking and things like that. Like, I'm picturing the things that my wife does, because she doesn't have a channel, but she works her butt off all day. As a stay-at-home mom, and
Mhm,
she works harder than I do. Let's be honest. So I'm
mhm,
guessing Denise does also.
mhm,
But man, the opportunities are endless for the things that you could talk about. I mean, everything from appliances to the stuff that's used in the kitchen to any part of homemaking. Man, the companies that you could possibly be open to are huge. Totally different than like small batch beard, right?
mhm,
um I would say, like I said, look, I reached out to Culligan. They ignored me, and that's completely okay. I'll probably reach out to him again.
mhm,
But if you're using it, if you are, even if you're not creating content, right? If you have something that you use on a daily basis, that probably comes from a large company with a large marketing budget. Find out how to get in touch with them, and man, reach out, let them know what you can do for them, because yeah, your opportunities are endless. There's another channel that I know. It's not necessarily homemaking, but she does, I guess it's homemaking. She talks more about like canning, storing food, things like that, canning vegetables and stuff like that.
mhm,
And she got a couple of brand deals. I guess there's all kinds of companies out there that make like the mason jar lids and the seals and stuff like that.
mhm, mhm.
She got a brand deal with a company that that's what they make, are those little seals in the lids that you know um, seal that jar up.
Okay.
And she reached out to me. This was her first time a company ever reached out to her. She reached out to me. She's like, "How do I approach this? This is what they want to pay me, and this is what they want to do." Like, they were paying her a lot of money, and they flew her to their location to make a
Mm,
bunch of content. I think she was there for a week. They filmed a whole bunch of content. They paid for her travel, paid her really well. Um, yeah, your opportunities are endless if you're using it, whether for content or just in your day-to-day life. Find out who that marketing person is for that company and reach out to them.
definitely. And the simple fact, Auntie, that you have Diva aprons. I mean, you have a very established YouTube channel with over 50,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of opportunity for your channel, and being able to take a lot of these tips that Coach Ken has talked about this morning here on the Huddle. And there's definitely going to be some more conversations around brand deals and sponsorships. And The possibilities are endless for you.
You
Speaking of, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and she's in a great place. You said 50,000 subscribers, right?
Hmm.
She's in a great place. She can put that in an email too. Like, here's my channel. I have 50,000 subscribers.
Hmm.
It's funny, right? Like, you don't need 50,000 subscribers to get brand deals. I got my first
Right.
brand deal at 200 subscribers. That's when I started working with Skull
Wow.
Shaver. You don't have to have a huge channel, but if you do have a huge channel, companies see that. Sometimes companies don't really understand how this works, and they just see that big number and they're like, okay, wow, I want to work with this person.
Hmm.
So that's awesome. You have that. Make sure that you point that out to them. That's amazing.
Right. And based on how many views that the channel has, the opportunities are endless for auntie in homemaking. And I think you just went through a rebranding of the channel now, where you call it homemaking with Denise, because before I think it was called this and that with Denise. And now that you have homemaking with Denise as one of the keywords in your channel, that's just huge for a great opportunity for you.
Yes.
Speaking of a great wife, I had to highlight her because when I do get a chance to watch the channel and hear about how she makes some awesome cookies, and so because I got Ken on the on the show this morning, after we get into the green room, I'm going to be doing me some negotiating and getting me some Mel's cookies. So he gonna let me know where to send the check, because those of you in the chat, if you want some good cookies, this is the woman right here. So I don't know if she started shipping nationally yet or she's just operating locally, but I had to highlight her this moment. So
She has, and I'll tell you, this is a good opportunity of a brand new infant company. Like, she's starting a, I think I can say company. Like, she started sending out like testers to people that we know, and getting feedback from them on, what they like, what they didn't like, stuff like that. I can tell you right now, we have no marketing budget, so we've spent a lot of money so far in just mailing out free products to people to test, but that's where it starts. I mean, that's where it starts. And then, hope, she grows that, we can reinvest that money back in, and then our marketing budget grows. And who knows, maybe we'll be offering brand deals to people someday.
There you go. But I definitely was going to miss on the opportunity to put her on screen to let people know, hey, if you are interested in some good cookies, we got the woman right here. And but we have individuals that knows about decorating and homemaking. And when you make that home real good and you have that nice plate of Mel's cookies on the table, on the kitchen counter, okay, let me get off my soapbox.
This is why, Walter, this is why I go to the gym so much.
I believe you. I believe you, definitely. Where can people learn more about you? Oh, before I do that, let me go ahead and get this set up right. So let's go here. And oh no, what am I doing? Do it this right here. And what I do? I don't want to do that. See, live happens when you do something.
Live happens live.
You see? What did I hit? Oh, okay. That's what I did. So I want to stop sharing. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop sharing. And then I'm going to pull up your website because I already had it queued. Got to do this right for the coach. Okay. And then we're going to go to Windows. And then we're going to go here. And then we're going to share. Okay. We got both up there. All right. Where can people find Coach Ken? All the links are in the description, but I definitely had to get his website up for him.
Yeah, so kinsconsin.com, just a link in bio type thing right now. I'm going to be working on my own website, but kinsconsin.com, yeah, we'll get you everywhere, to all the different platforms, all the stuff, all the coaching, everything, all the consulting, the affiliates that I have, everything is right there. So it's easiest. I just tell people kinsconsin.com, but on YouTube, Kinsconsin Beards and Fitness. If you have a beard, if you love somebody with a beard, come hang out. We'd love to have you. But yep, that's it. Kinsconsin.com is probably the easiest.
Definitely. Damn. Definitely, Coach. Man, I appreciate you. What did I do with him? See, you getting all starstruck here. My goodness, my goodness. There we go. Um, you have been such an influential person in my life. Just real quick, I remember when I first came to your channel and you used to do wins of the week, and it influenced me so much to bring it over to the Huddle. But I've told you once before, when I got hired with where I work at now with Jovia Financial Credit Union, I introduced that concept to them on the job. And every Friday morning, as part of our meetup, they go through a regular announcements, things you have to know, and then they go, okay, it's time for. They've now created a new segment called Question of the Day, and then after Question of the Day, Wins of the Week, whether from a professional or personal. So I just wanted to tell you that segment that you created on your other channel. I don't know if you do it on the new channel, on your existing channel. That segment has been so influential, not just in my life, but now in my company's uh, business, to the point that I'm hearing conversation that it's getting up to upper management now. So I just wanted to give you your flowers on that segment on Wins of the Week.
I remember you told me that, several months ago. We were talking about the Milwaukee Bucks, and that came up. You told me that. I was floored. I was honored. It's funny how you can do things like that. You don't put much thought into what impact it can have, right?
Mhm.
But you do something like that, and you hear how that has affected and impacted, other people, and in this case, an organization. It's crazy honorable to me that something like that reached a level like that. So, man, I appreciate you telling me that. Again, I love the fact that that's helping, even a large organization like where you work. So,
Definitely, definitely. So at this point, sir, I'm just going to put you right in the green room right quick, and we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station right quick.
okay.
All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, that is the coach, Ken Saley, on brand deals and more for small growing YouTube channels. And so, what has been your takeaway from this live stream discussion on brand deals? Put it in the chat for me. Put a T in front of the comment. Normally put C in front of the comment, but put a T for takeaway. What has been your takeaway on helping you to move forward and getting your first brand deal? And as you do that, as we get ready to bring this to a close, we always close out by simply sharing an encouraging word with you. Simply as this: you may be discouraged today. You may feel broken today, broken in relationships, broken in terms of how you feel mentally, or just feel broken on the inside because you just don't have the itch to want to create content anymore and you don't feel like you have anything to give. Remember this thought: broken crayons, still color. In the hands of a little child with a bag of broken crayons, not brand new crayons in a box that haven't been touched, that haven't been, the paper hasn't been torn yet, it hasn't been chipped or broken. You get what I'm saying? Life can treat us like that, not just as a content creator, but as a person. If you feel broken today, remember, broken crayons, still color, and in the hands of a little child, they can create the greatest masterpiece. They'll run to their parent, their father, their grandmother, their guardian, so excited about, look what I've just colored. And ultimately, that child becomes the next engineer, graphic designer, or someone who creates something very powerful to change our society. And so I want to say to you, create your next masterpiece, whether through video, short, or live stream, and impact someone's life. God bless.